Welcome back to Knowledge Finder EDU. Today we have a special guest, Daryl Harper. For all of those that are interested in financial success, don't know where to start, want to plan your financial journey, this is the man you need to speak to. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Pleasure being here.
So today, if you could just introduce yourself and what you do professionally.
So, name's Daryl Harper. I run a financial education company, so I've been teaching finance. Now, actually, next month is my 13-year anniversary. You're very welcome to get me a gift, by the way. 13-year anniversary teaching finance. So I speak with young people in schools, youth centres, universities, but sitting down also with families, speak at events, churches. So just educating people on money and the things they should have been taught in school but were never taught.
Okay, so when you were younger, would you say your father was your main influence financially in your financial education, or how did that start?
Do you know what? It's funny because I had quite a few role models. My dad was my role model in being a man in general and just living. So he taught me how to work hard.
Yeah.
Mum as well was a hard worker, but from a financial perspective, it was my aunt. Okay. My aunt was an accountant. She taught me how to save. So I had my parents that taught me how to work hard for it. My aunt taught me how to save it.
How did that come about? The first conversation.
Do you know what? We're going back to probably about 5 years old. So my dad had me on the building site working with him from the age of 4. Yeah, which is like child abuse, to be fair. So you had me, obviously at 4, you're making tea, you're carrying one brick at a time, you're sweeping up.
Yeah.
And he used to pay me. At that time, it was like £5 or £10. It wasn't a lot, but at that time, £5 could actually buy something. You know what I mean? My aunt got me. I don't know if everyone remembers these NatWest pigs. These NatWest pigs, and she got me those. So she encouraged me to save money, and those initially. Then it was a bank account. So it started off with, now you get money now. You need to start saving it.
Okay. So where did the teaching come into it?
Teaching was I kind of hop, skipped and buckled into teaching, to be fair. I was studying at my school, and I fell out of the educational system. Not for being a bad student. My parents essentially separated because of money.
Yeah. And
my mum got very depressed and she overdosed at that time. And I was 15 years old, and I had to take on the mortgage payment. So my dad had me on the building site from the weekends, paying me a salary so I could take on the mortgage.
Yeah.
And then at 18 years old, they transferred the mortgage to my name. But at 15, I had bunked school for about 3 months.
Yeah.
And wasn't there at all, but they had me marked in as attended.
Okay.
Even though I wasn't there. Don't get me wrong, I found ways of being marked in without being there.
Yeah.
But I realised it was so easy to fall out of the system without, and I was a popular student, but yet I still got missed from not being there. So I realised that if I could fall out of the system so easy, then how many other young people could fall out? So I decided I wanted to become a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be that teacher that I never had. And then ended up, what did I do first? I did media. No, I did sports science. My mum was still ill, so then I fell out of that. Went on to do media. I wanted to be discovered. I wanted to initially be on TV. This kind of helps. I wanted to be on TV, but I decided to go down the media route first of all, and I was there for about 6 months studying media, and then they offered me a job doing technical support, and then 3 months later they asked me to teach. So I started teaching at the age of 18.
I see. So it's an interesting journey, then.
Yeah, it's blessed. It's truly blessed, man. Truly blessed.
Okay, so that's a career-wise. Would you say teaching was always your career path, or in between the building site and getting into teaching, what were you doing in that period?
So I also did personal training. So I used to be a personal trainer while I was still studying. Teaching, I decided from the age of about 15 I wanted to be a teacher, 16. But I wanted to be a PE teacher initially because I love health and fitness. I don't know how. Do you know what it was? I knew I didn't want to go. Oh, this is gonna sound so bad. I knew I didn't want to go to university.
Yeah.
Because I knew that university wasn't for me. I couldn't even do coursework. Rephrase. I chose not to do coursework.
Yeah.
In school, so I just couldn't sit down for too long doing coursework. That's not an advertisement not to do coursework, people. Study, do your books, right? But for me, I just knew I was a hands-on type of person. I needed to be in the field learning. So I knew I wanted to educate people. I knew I wanted to help people, but I didn't know. I didn't know how far I was going to take that.
Yeah.
And then it was, I want to be on TV, and then so happens, teaching happens.
I see.
So it's a bit, to be fair, if I'm honest, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I just knew whatever it was I did, I wanted to be the best at it. That was my thing.
Would you say that's a key thing?
Yeah, 100%. I said, whatever I put my hand to, I am going to be the best. So if I was going to be a road sweeper, I was going to be the best road sweeper that came out of East London. If I was going to be a toilet cleaner, I was going to be the best toilet cleaner that came out of East London. If I was going to be a teacher, I was going to be the best teacher that came out of East London. So whatever it was to strive to be the very best at it and be second to none. So I was very much, whatever I do, I'm going to excel, because that's the mindset. Yeah. Yeah.
Is that something you try to instill in your students?
Yeah, whatever it was, like my thing was, I had the best results as a teacher in my department. Yeah. So all of my students left with distinctions or merits, because I spoke to them about getting distinctions. Like anything less than that wasn't acceptable. And my thing was very much, if you talk to people's potential, talk to them about how good they can be, they do their best to live up to that potential.
Yeah.
So you don't talk about where they are. So I spoke to them about being distinction students. They did their best to live up to that. Some of them ended up with merits, but no one ever got a pass in my class.
Cool. So going on from there then, let's talk about your students. What are some of the success stories that you've had with students in the past?
So I've got one in particular, funny enough, who I literally was just talking to on Instagram just now.
Yeah.
She, to this day, she still credits me for her even staying in college, because she was ready to drop out. I've got one actually that works not too far from here at the BBC, the broadcasting across the road. We've got loads of them that have just gone off and done loads of other things. Some of them are working in industry. Some of them just went off and did other things completely, because funny enough, I only had a level of control over them once they were with me.
Yeah.
Once they left me, they went off to university, you kind of don't have as much of an influence on them anymore, because now the role models are not there. It was very much, they didn't have the same support system. They didn't have someone that was fighting for them to win. So some of them just left the industry. Some went and did other things. So it's difficult to say what a lot of them did, but there's a lot of them that are still doing very well.
Okay, so how do people get involved in your workshops then?
Typically, they get invited by all of my events. The ones that I do are typically like a VIP invitation only. Yeah. So people will find out either through invitations through people that have been before. They can find me on the Instagram on harper.daryl, Daryl, or on the website www.darylharper.com, which will be changing soon, but I will still be there.
And what do you try to achieve in your workshops?
I will try to do nothing. And the reason why I say that, trying is for people that play rugby. So I do. Yeah. Because I don't understand the word trying it. Trying is a lack of commitment. I'm a doer. So in workshops, the goal is to provoke people.
Yeah.
It's to provoke people to think differently and do different. If I say some things that kind of makes you feel uncomfortable, because I know that most people only ever change when there's a level of discomfort.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean? Like you want a new house because you don't like the one you got in. You want a new car because there's something wrong with the one that you've got. You want a new job because you're upset about the way you're working. You want a new man, woman. Do you understand what I mean? So there's a level of discomfort that has to come first.
Yeah.
So my thing is to provoke that, but also just educate people. You're giving them the information they need so they can make the right choices for themselves. And that's what most people lack, is that information, education, to be empowered to make those changes.
Okay, so if you could list 3 bullet points or things people would take home when they come to your workshop, what would they be?
Okay, so it depends on what workshop I'm doing. I'm doing quite a few of them. I do quite a few. I would say number 1, well, no particular order, have a mentor.
Yeah.
Everyone needs a mentor. Everyone needs a coach. Everyone needs someone that's a couple of steps ahead of them that's already walked the path and can show them the right ways. That's number 1. Have some future goals. Have some goals in your life that are like 20 years in the future.
Yeah.
Because you've got goals that are 20 years in the future, that keeps you hungry. You've got to have your short-term ones as well, the medium ones, but have some 20-year plus goals. Mm-hmm. And I'll say environment. Now, one of the things that my dad always said to me growing up, I go to your bed before I beat you. Not that one though. He said, tell me who your friends are and I'll tell you who you are.
Yeah.
And the other one was, if you're standing in a room with your friends and you're the smartest one in that room, you need to go and find some more friends.
Yeah.
You need to hang out with people that are better than you, that are more successful than you, that got bigger goals and dreams than you have, and then you make more money than you make, and you tend to grow to that environment.
Yeah.
So environment is key. Having future goals, having a coach and mentor.
So what would you say to people that are in environments where they don't have mentors or they can't see anyone that's of great success?
So the challenge is that I'm quite real, and I don't throw shadow punches when I talk. There is no excuse.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me in this day and age, there is no excuse, because if you don't have a mentor that you can physically see and touch, there's a library around the corner.
Yeah,
that's got a
there's
book
always
in there.
been a library
Right.
around the corner. That's
There's a library somewhere where you can go and read the book, and your those of the mentors I have are dead.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean? But they put a lot of the information and the education in a book that I can read. So I've been mentored by those people. I've got like mentors that are multimillionaires as well. But there's a book in the library. Most people got access to the internet. So for me, in this day and age, it's very hard for someone to have an excuse to not have access to the information they need to change their life. Because no matter what the issue is, someone's written a book on it. Whether it's stress, whether it's lack of confidence, whether it's money, whether it's self-belief, self-esteem. Somebody had took time to write a book.
Yeah.
Read it.
So, when it comes to starting a business now, if somebody wanted advice on how to start a business, what would you suggest to them?
Get a mentor. First of all, make sure the business that you set up actually has a need. Like, is there a need? So for example, I tell people, like, is there a market for what you do?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not talking about let's go back. What's the problem, first of all? Because every business is about finding a solution to a problem. And what is the real problem? Not a problem that you are the only one that has, but we're talking about en masse. There's a bunch of people that have that problem. Finance. A lot of people have a problem with their finances. That's why I work in the financial industry. So what's the problem? And do you have a solution to it? Then number one, is there a market for it?
Yeah.
How big is the market? Yeah, so is it niche market or mass market, or is it a micro niche, for example? So those are some of the key things that I would say.
Okay.
Sure.
And if someone has no capital whatsoever, but they're really entrepreneurial and want to start a business, what would you suggest then?
Yeah. So that's my next challenge, because if you're really entrepreneurial, you'll find a way. Is to say, if you know what you want and you don't have the money or the means, you'll find a way to do it, because the hunger will make you find a way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So whether it means that you got to go and hustle legally, whether it means you got to go and hustle in some way, shape, or form to make the additional money you need.
Yeah.
You got to have a decent business plan that's other people can see the vision of what you've got, or you just need to find someone that believes in it, who's going to help support it in some way, shape, or form financially.
Okay.
Or go and find another vehicle that's going to help you make the money you need to get the business up and running.
Okay. So, saying that, what do you think about the lack of black CEOs in the UK? And worldwide generally, you could say UK, US, but here in the UK, senior management, CEOs, even if you go onto LinkedIn and type in CEO, you will see the odd black person come up. Why is that?
That was a hard one. I think sometimes for some people they don't see it. It's hard for you to believe it, if that makes sense. So for me, give an example. When I started doing what I do now, when I first went to a meet, I saw some black people standing up there. Like I saw this skinny black guy with a bar lid sitting there. I saw this short, chubby Welsh guy. I saw this Asian lady, a white lady. I saw the mixture. And I saw this Jamaican lady that still was fresh. Yeah. And I saw there was opportunity. Yeah. So once I saw that it was possible,
is this?
This was just where I started working now.
Okay.
I just saw people that looked like me that I could relate to.
Yeah.
So I just said, all right, cool. So it's possible. It's possible. Where am I going to be? Where do I want to stand on this chart? So then I became the youngest ever black vice president in the company. Then I became the first ever black senior vice president in the company out of the 6 or 7 senior vice presidents that were there.
Yeah.
So my thing is, it's possible, but you have to be prepared to put in the work. And sometimes when your shade looks like this, you got to put in more work.
Yeah.
And you got to work harder. Or you got to go and create your own business where you can be the CEO of it.
I'm with you. So that's what you would say is the case, then we need to create more of our own businesses and then employ our own children. Then we would see more black CEOs and thriving businesses.
Yeah. So like, I'm born and bred East London, born and bred Hackney, and my thing was always I wanted to be a role model, but I wanted to be that guy that walked through Hackney when people tell me, I said, you know what, that's the guy that changed my life.
Yeah.
That's the guy that changed my life, because I realised that not a lot of people have positive role models in their life.
Yeah.
So if I could put myself in a position where people could say, okay, if he can do it, I can do it, there's a level of belief there.
Yeah.
But when someone does it, sometimes when they don't see that it's possible for them, or they haven't seen someone that looks like them in that position, it's harder for them to aspire to do it themselves. So you got to take personal responsibility for putting yourself in a position where, you know what, I'm going to be an inspiration to other people and show them that it is possible if you're prepared to put in the work, the grind, go through the frustration, go through the challenges, go through the rejection, and stay hungry. Like, you've got to stay hungry.
Yeah, it's true. So what I would like to ask is some financial advice, personal financial advice. So if you were given £1 million right now, how would you invest it personally?
I'd diversify it. So it depends on what's going on at the time.
Today.
So today, so without giving you advice, I'll tell you what I do. There's a couple.
This is for you. This is what you would do personally.
Right. So I've got to bless a couple of people first.
Okay.
There's a couple of mortgages. There's a couple of mortgages that I've got to pay off.
Yeah.
Like dad's, mum's, you know what I mean? So there's a couple of mortgages that need to be cleared first, because those people are given to me. Yeah. And they raised me. My thing is, now let's look after them. So that's the first thing.
Okay.
I've got church that I've got to tithe to. So I've got to make sure that that's covered, because I ain't going to be where I'm going to be today and future unless I give back to my creator. So those things they're non-negotiable. They have to be done. Then for me, not telling anyone to do this, is property. Yeah. And then funds. I'm investing in some stocks and some funds. And depending on whether there's any businesses out there that tickle my fancy, then I'm going to invest in some business. So I diversify against those 3 things. I'm not going to say any particular stocks, because I don't want to get myself into trouble. Yeah. But yeah, I'll invest in funds and property. And if there's a business out there, that'll be kind of like the third thing I may do if it appeals to me. But those 2 will be the first 2.
So that means you would have all of the money working. You wouldn't keep £1 for yourself.
I have some money. I'd have some money in an emergency fund just in case. But there's always going to be money stacked up as my just in case crisis emergency fund money. So that's going to be there just sitting there. But the majority of it, if I want it to work, I need to put it somewhere it's going to work, and it ain't working in my bank. So it's got to go somewhere where it's going to get at least 8% return for it to make sense. Yeah, I'm just trying to gauge your natural response was to invest all of it. You didn't say, oh, I'm going to use this just a couple K to buy, I don't know, a car or something like that. So that just goes to show a certain mindset anyway. But what would there be a change if you were to given 10 million today? Would you have the exact same answer? Same answer. The reason why I say that is because money, all money is an amplifier. And what money does is it just amplifies who you really are. So good people with money will do good things with it. Yeah. Bad people with money will do bad things, just on a bigger scale. Yeah. So money doesn't ever define the person. The person is already the person. The money just makes them do whatever it was they were more. Does that make sense? So I give now. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I help my mum out now. I help my dad out now. I pay my dad's mortgage now. Yeah. All that will happen now is just to pay it off in one go. Yeah. So those things would still be the same. I'm with you. Yeah. So I'll just invest more. Can't take none of it with you when you're gone. Yeah, so you need to have enough to have a passive income so you can live now. Because the reality is, if you've got £1 million sitting somewhere that's giving you a 6% return, that's 60k a year. Yeah. That's okay. Yeah, that's okay. You know what I mean? I'm alright with that. Yeah, no, definitely. So I ain't settling for it though. But that's enough. Off of one avenue, so that's an alright return. So in terms of advice to young people starting their careers, what would you tell them? Where would you tell them to start? Would you tell them to become doctors and lawyers? No. Or what would you say in this day and age? I wouldn't tell them to go into any... There's a couple of things now. So I might go off on a tangent now. Find out what your purpose is, first of all. Oh, yeah. That's a very... It's dark. It's deep, because most people don't know what their purpose is. And I knew what mine was from the age of 15, only because some lady was at a drama class that I was in. And I said, just random. Up to this day, I don't know who this lady is. And if I saw her, I'd walk past her. She was in this drama class, and he said, in the middle of the class, do you know what your purpose is to everyone?
Yeah.
Never even thought about the question in my life. And I went home, thought about it, nothing came to me. And I woke up in the morning and like that, I knew my purpose in life. And it's very simple. I like putting a smile on people's face.
Yeah.
That was it. So, for example, when I went into personal training, you came to me and your body looked one way, and you wanted to look another way. If I get you there, you're happy, I'm happy, you're smiling, I'm smiling. Teaching was the same thing. You come to me, you don't have a certain qualification, you get there, you get the qualification, you're happy, I'm happy, you're smiling, I'm smiling. Finance is the same thing. You come to me, you're in a certain financial situation, or you want to get to a certain financial place or position, you get there, you're happy, I'm happy, you're smiling, I'm smiling. So everything that I've done is always linked to my purpose and my values. So first of all, know your purpose, know your values. And you don't do anything that's not in alignment with those two things, because you will not be happy. Find something that you love doing. If you don't love it, it will only ever get your attention. It will never get your commitment. That works in relationships too. Yeah. If it only ever gets your attention, if you only enjoy it, it will only get your attention. But if you love it, it gets your commitment. Yeah. And then make sure that it actually generates an income. There's loads of, I love eating. Doesn't mean I'm gonna make money out of just eating food. I can. But find that thing that you love, the thing that you would do for the rest of your life if you never got paid. Yeah. That's the thing that you want to be doing.
Well, there's a lot of people that will do music for that reason.
It's also about, but it's also about knowing okay. So my thing is always about you have multiple income streams in multiple industries, and there are some sensible industries to be in. Finance is one. Yeah. Technology is one, pharmaceuticals are one, and there's loads of other things that they're always going to be around throughout the time. Does that make sense? Yeah. So there's some sensible industries that you get into that just work. But once you know your values, my thing is, if I can create a business or something that's in alignment with who is me, and you can work in your, what I will call your anointing, and where your gift is, stay there. So everything I've done has been in alignment with my gifts. If it's not in alignment with my gifts, my anointing, what I love, what I enjoy doing, I ain't interested. Like if I don't get excited by it, I ain't doing it. I'm not having no Babylon job, waking up. No, because that's what I have to call it. I'm not having no Babylon job, getting paid the salary for me to be miserable. Yeah. Do you understand what I mean? Why am I getting paid the salary to be miserable? That make no sense. Now you may have to do that for a season until you find out who you are and what you want to do in the space you want to occupy. Yes, but I ain't doing that forever.
Okay, so what would you say to people that, for example, do want to start a business, but at the moment they're working, or they want to work they're working in a particular field to get experience? When is the time to jump ship and start your own business? Okay, so I did that. Yeah, so I worked as a teacher for 10 long years as a teacher. What I did is I had my business on the side, and I was working that part-time on the side. I didn't just jump from 9 to 5 job straight into business, because the mindset shift to go from 9 to 5 to business, there's a completely different mentality and mindset that you need to have. And most people are not ready to do that shift like that. Yeah. So what I did is I had my business that I was running on the side. And the good thing about doing that is that if it didn't make any money, that's cool. I'm not under any pressure, because my job is still paying me a salary. Yeah. Now, if I left my job and I've only got this self-employed thing I'm doing, and I'm sitting in front of you as a client, I'm sitting there like, boy, if you don't buy something for me today, I don't eat tonight. So I'm looking at you like a drumstick, as opposed to as a human being I'm trying to help. You understand what I mean? I'm with you. So you have your thing on the side that you're working. You get to a point where that starts making you the same or double your income. Yeah. Now you've gained some experience at that place. Now you've got the experience, got the information. You've now started to build a clientele. It's making you more money than your Babylon job. And now I should stop calling it that, you know. It's true. And now, you have to speak the facts.
Now you can move into having a business. As a business has to generate an income. If it ain't generating income, to me personally, it's charity. But it's a hobby. So it's got to be systematic. It doesn't rely on you. You have a manual. You have a business manual now how that business should work, and it's systematic where anyone could pick that up. Yeah. You have to think to yourself, it's got to be like a franchise. That's how important the system is. I've got a friend of mine that owns a chain of restaurants. They have an operation manual of exactly how you do everything. What shelf are the tomatoes on? How do you slice the tomato? When you put it in the pot, how many times do you stir it to the left? How many times do you stir it to the right?
Yeah.
What temperature? What time do you stir? Like, it has to be like that, where anyone can do it. Now we can say we've got a system, because now you can sell the operation manual.
Yeah.
You can't just sell it if it's in your head. It's got to be systematic to the point where everybody knows exactly what they're doing at any given time.
With you.
Make sense?
Yeah, definitely. No, so thank you for coming down today anyway and sharing some game with us. Before we go, is there anything you would like to promote? Any projects, any workshops you've got coming up?
Yeah, I mean, there's always things happening for me. So you got to follow me to find them. So you can either follow me on, like I said, harper.daryl, so it's HARPER. Daryl DARYL, that's my Instagram. I'm just living my life and enjoying myself on there, to be fair. But I post some of the stuff on there. Or you can go onto the website www.darylharper.com, and they're probably the two places that you'll find me now. And there's a new website coming up soon, so stay tuned into this channel, because they will have the most up-to-date information.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
And if you're in need of any financial assistance, you want to get your finances right, check out Daryl Harper's website, give him a shout. You can send him a message on there. Feel free. But definitely take the steps to make the change. Whatever you're planning to do, if you want to start a business, you've got an idea, anything like that, actually take the steps to make that change. Daryl's a guy that can give you advice and help you with the first steps of that change. Thank you for tuning in today. We've had our special guest, Daryl Harper, in the building. If you need some financial assistance, you want to get your finances right, log on to Daryl Harper's website and check him out. Thanks for listening. Knowledge Finder EDU, and we'll catch you next week. Take care.